Did you get a chance to hear what Phil said after the game? By you having to take that amount of shots, screws up the game plan more so than you screwing up the game. What do you feel about that?
First of all, I've been around Phil for many years as I have. We all understand that he likes coaching publicly. And I think it's important for the new guys to understand that. It's fine. You just let him do his job. But he was right. I mean, I totally broke the offense, but I did it intentionally because I felt like we needed to get something started. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. When it doesn't, you take the criticism for it, but I have thick enough skin to be able to do that.
If you're up 3, you gotta guard your man at the 3-point line, and there should be no closeout opportunity.
Breaking news out of the NBA, where the Sacramento Kings have fired head coach Mike Brown.
That was embarrassing. That was just a joke. And tonight, it was a brutally honest message, and the guys that are fully won't hear it. They'll say coach is tripping.
Breaking news, the Nuggets, they fired Michael Malone, the winningest coach in franchise history.
The NBA has a coaching problem. Tough coaching is becoming extinct. Coaches like Greg Popovich and Phil Jackson that led their teams like militias where they were the commanders are a thing of the past. Coaches used to be able to build trust, and the players used to buy in and be coachable.
It's fine. You just let him do his job.
Now players think they're above coaching and that it's beneath them to listen to anybody else. Take this altercation between Eric Spoelstra and Jimmy Butler as an example. Udonis Haslem, a vet who won championships with Spoelstra, told Jimmy Butler that it's okay to have disagreements, but once you cross the line and disrespect your coach, that's when you're taking it too far. A vet like Haslem understands the importance of maintaining a relationship between the players and the coach. The Heat had every opportunity to fire Spoelstra. They could have fired him after the meltdown in 2011. They could have fired him after the record margin loss against the Spurs. And they could have fired him the past couple of seasons. But firing him at any of those points wouldn't have addressed the actual problems with the team. It would have just been a distraction. Sacramento Kings coach Mike Brown was fired right after calling out his star player for a blown coverage that led to a game winner. Nuggets coach Michael Malone was fired right after winning a championship and losing his role players that made it possible. One of the reasons for both of these coaches being fired was that they lost the locker room. Some of their players complained about being called out on the sidelines and in the film room.
De'Aaron Fox was continuously being singled out, whether it was publicly or behind the scenes.
The new style of coaching is having a relationship with your star players before you get the job and running a system based on their input. And it doesn't make a difference how much experience they have or how qualified they are to be a head coach. A lot of star players pick their coaches and decide when it's time to have them removed.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
This change has made coaching less important than ever, since we now see the same coaches go around the wheel, with teams seeing the same results as they had before. If the issues with a team involve a lack of effort or lack of execution by the players, something that's out of the coach's control, and they aren't allowed to hold the players accountable, there's no way that team can win. There's no way to fix the problem. Coaches aren't allowed to bench players anymore, no matter how bad they're playing.
DeMar DeRozan, who signed for $139 in 2016, which means, unfortunately, and I hate to say this, that probably cost Dwayne Casey his job.
Hey, P, they said I got to come off the bench.
They aren't allowed to make any adjustments that upset the stars. And even when teams experience success with their new coach, or their new coach is a great coach, the change is only temporary until the cycle continues and the next coach is fired. Who cares how good the new coach is when the moment they upset the star player, they're gone. Some coaches are fired so fast, there's not even time to find a good replacement. At some point down the line, it will be the player's fault, or they'll have a bad roster, and the coach won't be allowed to do anything about it. This exact reason is why we're seeing more coaches being fired than ever before. Since 2020, only 3 head coaches still have their original positions. And it doesn't matter if the coach was successful, won Coach of the Year, won championships, made a huge impact. None of that matters. It doesn't even matter how good their roster was. The coach always takes the blame. They're on such a short leash, they aren't allowed to make any big changes or take any risks, but they're the first to get blamed if the team falls apart. It doesn't matter how poorly Bradley Beal plays, or that Kevin Durant wanted him on the team, or that the Suns GM made that trade. The only thing that matters is that Frank Vogel lost the locker room. The same way he lost the locker room when the Lakers traded for Westbrook, who was making $47 million. Never mind that he won a championship. But don't worry, the Suns are doing much better now with Mike Budenholzer. Coaches shouldn't be allowed to throw their players under the bus after every loss.
Don't look at that. I want you to go back and look at that roster.
And the players should be able to challenge their coaches. But a lot of these coaches hold themselves accountable first.
When a guy has a fourth quarter like that, it's on me to make sure that we're doing something to get the ball out of his hands, and I didn't do that, so I take ownership of that, and I have to do a better job.
While the players, GMs, and owners all look for someone else to blame, the NBA needs to go back to allowing coaches to do their job. Right now, their only purpose is to be a scapegoat for poor roster decisions or a lack of execution by the players.